back, taking a live look outside right now of Greeley. The sun's up. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. I'm Brianna Fernandez. 8 o'clock is your time, and it's going to be hot and much of the same for the rest of the week. So let's bring in Chris Spears. Chris, what can we expect for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Because I saw your forecast earlier and it just said hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, we can almost copy paste that forecast day to day. You have to kind of look at that calendar and remind yourself it really is the 5th of October because it does not feel like it. Certainly not going to look like it on the forecast. Here's a view from Lookout Mountain. What you do not see in this view is the flow of air coming down the terrain and into the city. That's a downsloping motion, and in the atmosphere, if air is moving down, it compresses and warms. And so you're going to see that result here on the temperature map. But wind speeds are picking up. We are now gusting to 25 at the airport. You can anticipate off and on strong wind all day long. Look at what the wind is doing to our temperatures here. We stayed in the 60s all night long in Metro Denver due to the wind. A little cooler out on some of the plains and the valleys. It's 46 in Greeley, 30s and 40s right now in the high country. I have our high set for 87 today. That would break the record of 86 set to 1997. We tied a record high yesterday, and we are worried about this behind me, fire weather. Widespread fire concern today in eastern Colorado because of this hot, windy, warm weather. If a fire starts, it could move fast. Your headlines for today: fire danger, record highs, and haze due to wildfire smoke. Brianna, I have a small cool down for you. It's a small one, but we'll take a look at it coming up in just a bit.
Chris, thank you so much. Now to a traffic alert. Right now, the right lane along southbound I-25 is blocked due to a crash involving a semi. You can see it right there on your left screen. There is the right lane is blocked off. You're seeing a lot of crews right now on scene blocking that area. So it's going to take some while for the cleanup process. And you can see that right screen. There is a lot of delays, especially if you're taking southbound I-25. Definitely try to avoid it if you can and just take some alternate routes. This morning, a man is in custody after walking into a restaurant in Denver on Friday with a knife. Police say it happened at the Angelos off 6th and Pearl. A manager there tells 9 News he started accusing people of things before taking off. Nobody was hurt and the man left before being tracked down and arrested. Staff at Angelos decided to shut the restaurant down for the rest of the night after what happened. CBI says twin brothers, who are also the chief and sergeant of the Center Colorado Police Department, have been charged with theft. Chief Aaron Fresquez and Sergeant Adam Fresquez are accused of operating a private canine training business during their on-duty hours using city resources. The two men allegedly trained canine dogs for other police agencies and then pocketed the training proceeds that should have gone to the town. The brothers have been placed on administrative leave and will appear in court at a later date. Former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters has officially been booked into a correctional facility. We got a look at her booking photo a day after a judge sentenced her to 9 years for her election tampering case. Colorado's best-known election denier allowed conspiracy theorists to gain access to information from Mesa County's voting systems. In court on Thursday, Peters was defiant and maintained that she did nothing wrong. Friday, the Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser addressed the sentence she received. Take a listen.
The reality is that words and rhetoric have consequences. And the big lie pushed by former President Trump, J.D. Vance, and others is dangerous. It's harmful to our democratic republic. We have a democratic republic because people know that our elections operate with integrity. In Colorado, we have the gold standard of elections. This whole charade was costly. It was dangerous. And sadly, as the judge noted, Tina Peters was an unrepentant liar. She was without remorse, all about seeking fame and taking part in what's a dangerous conspiracy. She'll now pay the price.
County commissioners testified Friday that all those lies and conspiracy theories that Peters peddled cost Mesa County $1.4 million. Her punishment marked one of the strictest sentences we've seen so far for any election tampering case. The city of Boulder says the apartment building Ash House has been cleared of building code violations. The announcement comes 3 weeks after a judge in Boulder County ruled students could continue living in the building on University Hill. Despite additional bedrooms being found in some of the units, inspectors say those extra bedrooms were created without a permit and were considered safety risk because they didn't have fire sensors or a way out in case of a fire. The city says the property owners have gotten those bedrooms up to code. They are working to dismiss that lawsuit against the property owners now that the issues have been resolved. The city of Denver has spent tens of millions of dollars moving people off the street and into shelters. But now the city says more people are moving into permanent housing than back into homelessness. Our Keely Ranke looks at those numbers.
This may be Denver's best report card on its plan to end homelessness, and city council members this week noticed.
Congratulations on finally flipping the outcomes to the direction we need them to be.
City Councilwoman Amanda Sawyer, one of the program's toughest critics, was happy to see a different trend, considering the city has spent tens of millions of dollars moving people into shelters. For the first time, more people in hotels or tiny homes are moving into permanent housing than leaving shelters and going back onto the streets.
We had also seen an uptick in terms of connection to services for individuals that were in our program, so more people getting access to vital documents, more people getting IDs, more people connecting to the services that were being delivered on site.
Cole Chandler is the senior advisor on homelessness to the mayor. He told council this week they're moving about 5 people indoors every day. 173 people moved into permanent housing over the summer, a nearly 25% increase from the previous quarter.
Some people are moving into permanent supportive housing. They have that attached permanently to supportive services.
The efforts that the city has made to move people from streets to safe spaces and now from those safe spaces into permanent housing is really exactly how the homelessness response system should work.
Colorado Coalition for the Homeless says the way that it is working could be even quicker if more affordable housing options were available.
If we had been making the investments over the last decade in this, high need affordable housing for lower income households, we might not be quite in the crisis that we're in today.
There's no doubt the Mile High City is seeing progress, with fewer tents up on the streets.
Unsheltered homelessness in Denver dropped 11% in the last year. A point-in-time count took place in January, which found 1,200 people were unhoused on that one day. Right now, there are more people living in these hotels and tiny homes than outside. Nearly 1,600 people are currently in those shelters. Now, bus transit along East Colfax is expected to improve soon, as in the next 3 years. A groundbreaking ceremony was held Friday morning for the East Colfax Bus Rapid Transit Line. The project promises to build bus-only lanes in the middle of Colfax from Civic Center Station to I-225 in Aurora. Construction on the first mile starts next week. It will tear up parts of Colfax and lead to lane closures and a traffic mess until 2027. The Colfax Business Improvement District says stores along the stretch will be affected for some time, so a fund has been created to offset at least some of the potential financial impact. RTD has hired 2 deputy chiefs who will lead the agency's police department as they search for a permanent one. Dr. Glenell Horn Jr. and Stephen Martingano will lead the agency's police department for the next several months as co-chiefs. Both of the men had already been working as deputy chiefs within the RTD police department. It comes just after 2 weeks after the agency fired their former police chief, Joel Fitzgerald. It's still unclear why Fitzgerald was fired, but he had been on leave for at least 2 months. RTD refused to tell the public why he was on leave and fired. Turning to the presidential race, Vice President Kamala Harris held a campaign event in Detroit as well as Flint, Michigan. There she discussed the working class and labor unions. The vice president also talked about the economic progress made under the Biden-Harris administration.
I will always put the middle class and working families first. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
Later today, Harris is expected to visit North Carolina to see more of the aftermath from Hurricane Helene. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump will spend his Saturday by returning to the site of the first assassination attempt against him. He will be holding a rally at the Farm Show less than 3 months after a gunman fired 8 shots at the stage. One of the bullets grazed the former president's right ear. The Secret Service killed the shooter moments after he opened fire. Trump will be joined by Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, family members of the man who was killed during the assassination attempt, his running mate, J.D. Vance, and GOP members of Congress.